put it into Reba, the sister of Reba, right, towards cars, right? I'd like to hear your opinion put it into that.
Motor car insurance. The way to respond to this is collective responsibility. You have to know what the law of this country can give you and what changes can you make to the law of this country. That we get a pool of people and we all assume a collective responsibility. And we run our insurance company as a not-for-profit. Not-for-profit. We don't want to make profit over other people's misfortunes. Mr. Insurance, you're looking bad. You're growing fat over other people's tears. You don't have a place of respect among us. No. But our insurance company, we don't have to call it an insurance company, call it a Jamaat. And whichever member of the Jamaat is involved in a motor car accident, and liability is on our side, not their side, then we, the members of the Jamaat, we will pay the cost involved in fixing the other man's car. In respect of your car, to the extent that you need the car for your basic necessity of life, we have a duty to help you to reach that level of basic necessity. Beyond that, no. In this way, the insurance company will operate perfectly, but with no profit going in my pocket. That's how we deal with insurance. Okay, any comments now on the subject? Let me hear what you have to say, particularly if you're a businessman, you're an engineer. Particularly if you're a businessman. All right, go ahead, Azad.
No, well, it just made me think if I go and build, well, I wouldn't build a big house now, I'd build a small house. But should I insure it or not? Or just leave it to the will of Allah?
Stay away from all insurance, all. I don't have medical insurance. No. No, I don't have medical insurance. And I don't tell my wife already. If a situation arises where I have to have some operation for $100,000, don't go and make no appeal for the Muslim community to raise $100,000 for me. No. Life and death are in Allah's hands, not in the hands of any hospital or any doctor. If Allah has decreed death, nothing can change that. And if Allah has decreed life, you can't take me away. Stay away from all insurance. And where you cannot stay away from insurance because the law requires it and you can't get away from the law, then this is fearing Allah to the extent that you have the capacity to do it. So I have motor car insurance, but I buy third party. I had a car in New York, and I had to go and deliver 2 lectures in Staten Island. In those days when I was young, I got to do 4 lectures in a day. Now, not the same anymore. So while I was driving to Staten Island, car break down. I'm more concerned about my lectures, the people waiting. So I park up the car, decided to roll, and I gone. 6 o'clock in the evening, when I finished my 2 lectures, going back for the car gone. Go in New York, you know. They stole the car. 2 days later, an Italian-American who had become a Muslim, was a businessman. He came to see me because he wanted to talk about riba. And someone had told him, come to Imran. So when he came to me, he heard the story. Then my car gone. So he said to me, I want to buy a car for you. No, no. He said, I want to lease a car for you. All that you'll have to do is to pay the insurance. Full comprehensive. I say, no, no thank you. Me have no car, you know. A Muslim businessman in Lower Manhattan with a garage, he heard Imran car gone. He called me on the phone. Maulana, I want to lease a car for you, brand new, you ain't got no shutdown anything. All you have to do is pay the insurance. Full comprehensive. I said, no thank you. Because in a choice, in driving a car for $500, you could buy a car for $500 in New York. You go shut down. but you could buy third party, limit liability. You don't have to buy full comprehensive. So I turned down those two offers because I did not want to take maximum insurance. I wanted to take minimum insurance. Eventually the Italian American come back to me. He said, Maulana, here's $3,000. Go and buy a second-hand car. And that's how I was able to get a car within a week's time. So stay away from insurance. Take the minimum that you can take when you cannot avoid it at all. Any other questions? Now, what were some comments?
Can I make a comment? The concept of reaping where you have never sowed is one of the reasons for the crime wave that is sweeping the land right now, and the inability of the governments, Western governments, to stem the crime wave. One of the things that governments do, this government or Trinidad, I'm dealing here in Trinidad and Tobago, Western governments generally, is legalize some of the things that Allah had determined to be haram, like gambling. Gambling relative to establishing a national lotteries board. We're not even speaking about the opening up of the numerous casinos, but particularly the fact that government has legislated through acts of parliament that it is legal for you, the person, to go and take part in playway, which was, when it was wayway, it was illegal. The reason I'm saying that is because by people taking part in gambling, like, as I said, playway, or buying a lotto ticket, you are seeking to reap where you have never sowed. I don't know if Maulana is going to deal with that in more detail in probably the next session or so, but we need to look at the fact that if you encourage that, you legislate these things, making that which Allah determined to be haram as halal, you are reinforcing in the values of greed, selfishness, avarice. You are reinforcing these values in the children. So we have a generation who is now growing up under what we call the 50 cents mentality. And 50 Cent has an album out right now that is called Get Rich or Die Trying. And we notice that a lot of the youths are dying trying. Because all the killing and murder is linked essentially to making illegal money. And the fact is, if you take and train children from small to take part in practices that reinforce the values of greed, because if you want to reap or you have a great desire to reap where you have never sowed, that's selfish. That's greed. And you make a whole nation of greedy people.
The people have it planted now in their minds and their heart. You could get something for nothing. From the time you could get something for nothing, you could kidnap as well. Then the pastures will be very green. You could buy enough tickets to Michael Bolton. You can buy enough tickets for Michael Bolton for his Mother's Day? Yeah, because you kidnap the fella. You could get something for nothing. You could go and rob. You could steal. You plant that mentality in their minds with your lottery since 1960-something. State-sponsored lottery. So as Malcolm X would say, the chicken's coming home to roost now. Okay? Okay, I want some comments from the audience. I want some interaction from the audience now. Not from Michael, from the audience. You have heard, I think, enough so far on this subject of money in Islam to have seen a new perspective from the one that you are accustomed to. This should have blown away some of the cobweb. And you're beginning to see the light now. You're beginning to see the reality which is different from the external appearance, the internal reality which is different from the external appearance. They didn't teach that at the London School of Economics. You got your degree from London School of Economics, but they didn't teach it there. Any comments? Okay, in the meantime, is it permissible to work in a bank? No. The Prophet cursed all four. The one who takes riba, the one who gives riba, the one who records the transaction, which is the bank, and the two witnesses, which is the bank. And he said that they're all equally guilty. Equally guilty. The punishment for the one who takes riba is in the Quran. وَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. The one who persists in taking riba will now be punished by Allah with the fire of hell. And when you're in the fire of hell, even your party card can't help you. Your PNM party card and your UNC party card can't help you. And you remain in the fire of hell forever. The Lord speaks. If that is the punishment for the one who takes, what will be the punishment for the one who gives if they're both equally guilty? You figure out that now. Next question. If someone is ill and they cannot work to earn a living and they have a little and they look forward to a little interest to survive, could you put your money in a fixed deposit in the bank? It's only a little bit. It's only a little bit. We know it's bad, but it's only a little bit. Okay, if I offer you a glass of milk and I only put one little drop of urine in the milk, would anyone except a former Prime Minister of India drink it? Answer me. Morarji Desai, he used to drink his own urine. Prime Minister of India. Only one drop of urine. We're making so much fuss over that. No, me ain't gonna drink that. Not even half a drop of urine. I ain't gonna drink that. Huh? Well, if that is your standard of purity, why should his standard be any less than yours? Huh? Have you no sense? This is your standard. Why should his standard be less than yours? When you cannot do otherwise, like a situation where you're dying from starvation, then the law of necessity would apply. But then don't fill your plate with the pork. And when you're eating the pork, don't lick your finger, na man. And don't invite all the neighbors to come and join in the pork. And when food is available, you should be hurried to get away from the pork and eat the food. That is the only condition in which the law of necessity would apply.